Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. On today's episode, I welcome Dan and Liz from Radix Racing Collective, service for hire out of Michigan. They talk about how they got started and how to be prepared for a rally. Turns out you need more than just a can of beans. Well, Dan and Liz, welcome to the podcast. I should say welcome back because I had some audio issues on the first go around, but appreciate your patience and coming back.
Yeah, well, we're happy to be here.
Yeah. So, where are you guys from?
Well, we are kind of both from the Lower Peninsula of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in kind of the Grand Rapids area. I grew up in Holland.
And I just grew up in Grand Rapids, just in West Michigan.
Oh,
But
okay.
no, we both we're located in Marquette, Michigan, up in the Upper Peninsula. So that's where our home base is out of Marquette there.
Oh, okay. So, you guys familiar with the John Ball Zoo?
Yeah.
Okay. So, little story real quick, and then enough about me. But I used to work for an exhibit design firm, and we did a project there for the lion enclosure.
Oh.
Oh,
So, my first job there was doing graphics. There's a staircase, if it's still there. You go up in like a viewing platform,
Oh yeah.
and I was attaching graphics to it, and this guy, one of the employees, shows up with a rifle.
Oh.
oh,
I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, hey, I hope you don't mind, but while you're hanging over the edge putting this graphic on, we're going to let one of the lions in, because this is the first time we've ever let him in. I'm like, oh, so you just got a tranquilizer or something, to shoot the lion. And he's like, yeah, I have one of those, but I also have a live round just in case the tranquilizer doesn't work. I was like,
No.
oh, okay.
That's not very reassuring.
It made me really nervous, and
I bet.
the material was a composite material, and I'm kind of nervous. And they're like, all right, we're gonna let it in, and just then I'm drilling a hole to attach it, and the drill bit snaps off in the material.
oh no.
So I was like, great, it's gonna take me 3 times as long to get this done now, but. Enough of that. Yeah, that was my experience in Grand Rapids, but beautiful city. So
Oh, indeed it is.
yeah, I love the Alexander Calder sculpture. If it's still there, hopefully it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, well, Dan and Liz, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do in rallying?
Yeah, so we're kind of the crew a lot of times.
Okay,
And
great.
we started out really just because a couple of friends down the street while we were going to college had bought a rally car.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I had a friend who was into like cars a little bit, kind of like how I was. We both had Subarus and stuff, and then we went to college and his roommate had bought this Eclipse and he texted me and was like, "Hey, you guys are kind of into cars, right? Do you guys want to come over and check out this race car?" And we were like, "We can't pass up that opportunity."
All right.
What do you mean what do you mean your roommate bought a race car?
And that's when I kind of got introduced to Michigan Tech being, the rally school. It's the school that gets you into rallying.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, and so before it didn't take long. I was just like enamored with the idea of, hey, this is a really cool stage rally car. Hasn't
Mm-hmm.
raced in a few years, but I'm sure Eli can get it going. And before you knew it, the semester had passed and we were getting to the summer and Eli goes like, "Oh, hey, we're going to the NASA event, the Cup Rally."
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, we'll tag along for that. Sure, we'll come out to watch. Um, well, we get there, and it Eli has parked the Eclipse up against the back of the parking lot of the school that they were at in Powers that year.
Uh-huh.
And this was the last time they ran the Powers recently. And I just remember the whole camping setup that these guys had set up right around the car. Like it is so clear that they had just driven down in this race car with all the stuff they thought they needed in the back
Uh-huh.
and
I thought
they thought they needed. Yeah.
wildly unprepared, it turned out.
Wildly
Uh-oh.
prepared. When I got there, I was like, the first thing I'm thinking is, did you guys have anything for dinner? Like, what are we gonna eat out here? Like, did anybody think about that? And one of the guys I was out with us says, "Oh yeah, we got a can of beans here." I was like, "Oh, that's great. What else do you have to go with the beans?" And he's like, "No, just
How are you gonna
beans."
cook the beans? How are you gonna even open the can?
I guess you wire it to the manifold or something.
Yeah, right. But then how do you get the hot can open, right? That's
Right. True.
so
Wait for it to
That's
start.
funny.
so we knew right away that hey,
We had already just come with we had already since we were avid well also we were with avid campers, but like
Hmm.
we come with a little bit more level of preparedness.
Yeah.
Probably a product of Dan having been a Boy Scout. And like we had all of the things that we needed to cook with and survive with for a weekend and like first aid and like other tools and stuff that they ended up needing. And so we just realized like we realized and our friends realized like, hey, you guys very obviously it's much like it's more in your nature to come prepared. So what if you guys just come prepared and we come unprepared and we rely on you? And that was it worked out pretty well.
Oh, good.
Us as a team all coming with our own like skills with they would come with some of our friends were really good at photography. The other ones are obviously really they own the car and they are good at racing. And
Right.
like we had our friend Zach who was not only good at racing but also a great co-driver, and we all kind of brought different things to the table. But then after a while we just realized like, hey, we really like doing this, we really like providing this service, we
and
like
and
showing up and
after
Hmm.
a while, like
being prepared.
we did enough of these rallies with Eli and the Eclipse and kind of realized like, hey, the direction that he's going is he just wants to show up, have some fun, do some rally crosses, and the he's not really our way into crewing anymore. And
Hmm.
we need to do something about that if we want to stay involved.
Right.
And I don't think we saw it right away as an option, but we were very quickly headed in the direction of what if we just made this a service that we offer,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Nice.
Because then at that point, we can do what we enjoy doing and what we're good at doing, but also help out the same people that got us started.
Because
Hmm.
when we were hanging out there, there were times that people would like make comments and quips about even if they didn't. Some of them had their own cars and were saying like, "Man, I wish that I could get my friends to like come out and do that with me, or
Oh,
just
yeah.
anyone." And they would like crack a joke and laugh, and then they would really painfully hobble back to their car to try and finish working on whatever they broke in between runs. And
Yeah.
they kind of, it just seemed to us like, well, if we had time, we would come over and help you right now if it wasn't for like the having to work on only our own car. And so we were like, man, like, wouldn't it be great if we had more people that we could just send them over to these other people who don't have other help to work on their cars?
Right.
Then also there was like spectators who said the same thing of like they would love to get into rally racing and they have a car in their garage or something like that,
Right.
but they don't know anyone who would possibly be willing to come out here with them. And we were like, well, we certainly are.
Well, yeah, and
Right.
like something that we can totally help with. If the hardest part of getting into rallying is just figuring out the logistics and the planning of
Hmm.
race weekend, then we can help with that. We can take care of all of those logistics that we know how to do and we're good at.
Right.
and let these drivers who just want to get into this just drive and
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy it rather than them having to stress about all of the nuances and the logistics and the planning and the
Right.
gotta be on time, you know. If if they can just focus on the racing, which is what they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
then they might even be able to perform a little bit better because, you know, they don't have all that stress on them.
Right. So they don't have to worry, where's the nearest parts store just in case, or
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
is
literally
is there a
something.
junkyard that might have some Subarus in it or something, right?
Those are all things that we have exactly dealt with. There
Right.
have
Yeah.
been times where we have like, especially with Eli having such an old car, where we've broken apart and we've like number one thought, oh, this place will first of all be open, and then we go there and they're closed. Or second of all, we go there and they definitely don't have the part that we need.
Right.
And third of all, we're like, okay, well, where's the nearest parts place? And we have no idea. So everyone at one time is trying to very poorly communicatedly try to Google any parts store or like a
Junkyard.
junkyard they can and
Right.
find an available
We've
part.
gone to Facebook Marketplace to try and buy entire cars just to get like an alternator.
And
Oh
I was just
wow.
thinking, like, I think I said one day while we were all friends, like after all it was said and it was all said and done, and we had found the part, I think I had said, "Man, next time we need to just think about all the parts on the car that might fail and we don't have a replacement for, and we should find a place to buy the replacement just in case." And
Right.
we were
Yeah.
like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's put that on the to-do list for next time. And so the
Mm-hmm.
next race, we did it,
Well, I
and it
imagine
turned
it
out
would be harder if you're driving kind of an oddball car, you
Oh,
know.
great.
exactly. Yeah.
So that would take a little more homework and a little more effort to hunt parts down, or where to find something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had a guest on, Tyler, who has a 1960s Chevy Corvair
Ooh.
that he does a lot of time speed um, trials. So I would imagine parts, he'd pretty much would have to really do his homework and figure out, okay, these are the parts I'm going to need. I better order them now, or how are you going to
Oh,
find a part for a Corvair when you're in the middle of
yeah.
the woods? Yeah.
And it's like if we've done it once for one car, it's not like it's hard to do it for another car,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're already going to call a parts shop and say, hey, do you still stock parts for 94 Eclipse? No? Cool. We won't put you on our list then when we
Right.
make our plans. And
Mm-hmm.
those are things I think we just learned from enough experiences now
Right.
that we can help bring that knowledge to more people by helping out and saying, "Hey, we'll take care of this.
Yeah, that's
Make
a
sure
huge part of
you're
the
prepared."
stress. Yeah, that you don't want to
Yeah.
have. So I've had Camden and Jeremy on the podcast. How did you meet those guys?
So that was kind of a fun little arc of really meeting them and getting introduced to them.
Mm-hmm.
We first met them at one of the cup rallies. It was the Iron Mule. They all I remember was the cars went out in the morning, and I saw that one Impreza. I was like, oh, that's a pretty clean build. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It sputtered through, and then before we even got halfway to lunch, it was already being towed back into service
Oh
by.
no.
And I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. So I watched them, pull it up onto the hill, and they had this nice big enclosed trailer. They had basically nothing more than a tarp and some jack stands, and they were on grass. So the jack
Uh,
stands were not stable. They're trying to work on it anyways.
we'll be right back. Power up your ride. Daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, They have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts, they build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show. Yikes.
And I was like, you know what? Hey, you guys need anything? Like I walked up there. We were just hanging around service. We were crewing for Jonathan Nagel,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a like modernish 2006 Impreza. So very familiar chassis for us. And well, we were crewing right next to Eli. And Eli had his van at the time that had just tons of parts. Like
Mm-hmm.
his van was basically his parts repository. So we ran up to Cam and Jeremy and we're like, "Hey, do you guys need anything? Like we have a bunch of random Subaru and Eclipse parts. Like I'm sure we can find something. What do you
Mm-hmm.
need?" Like, "Oh yeah, we blew a radiator hose." I was like, "You know what? I think we have that." So we ran back and sure enough, I found in Eli's van a radiator. I ran that up.
Awesome.
It's like, "Hey, does this get you going again?" They're like, "Oh, thank you." And that's basically the last I saw. I ran back down
Yeah.
to service. We did service, and by the time the service was done, they were off. So I kind of assumed that it was fine or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, it turned out that they had blown the motor entirely. So they
Oh, no.
oh, it was like, oh. So we didn't see them again until LSPR.
Okay.
And we were crewing for Jonathan again at LSPR. It was his first time doing it, which was very exciting because it was also our first time as crew for an LSPR.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we get to Park Expose and there's Cam and Jeremy, sitting in the car facing the other way. And we're like, hey, we recognize you guys. Didn't we see you a few months ago and you were like blowing the motor or something, And they're like, yeah. And I was like, "Where's your crew? Like, how'd you get here? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh no, we have no crew. Yeah, we're
Wow.
ghost crewing this,
Oh, wow.
soloing it." And I was absolutely floored. Like, I was blown away that these guys were actually making it through LSPR just on their own,
Wow.
as if LSPR wasn't hard enough with a full crew to handle all your trailer and service logistics.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing it on their own. Like, whoa.
Wow.
So I immediately was like, hey, we need to talk after this event because I think we could crew for you. And sure enough, by the time LSPR finished,
You said they couldn't find anyone who would want it.
yeah, Cam said like, hey, yeah, we went through LSPR all on our own. We couldn't find anybody that would want to crew for us. Like
Wow.
they could get a couple of their friends to come
Mm-hmm.
out just
But they just don't have any knowledge.
yeah, they could come out and
Okay.
like spectate and stuff, but they didn't have any knowledge. They didn't want to like, really get their hands dirty. Um, and they needed crew desperately. So
Yeah.
we were like, hey, we'll crew for you at Snowdrift. Like, why not? Let's
Mm-hmm.
see how this goes. And we had a really good event, I
Yeah.
would say. I think it was very much in the spirit of rally and press on regardless, because
Nice.
we had some challenges. And
Mhm.
I think all of us were still a little bit new to the whole, national rally scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely even that much more challenging.
Okay. So still a learning experience.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, hopefully they brought more than just baked beans for themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the best part is like we had learned so much up to that point,
Yeah.
and we learned so much from that event as well that we were just like, this is obvious. This is what we're doing now. We're a professional crew for hire service.
Oh, nice. Well, um, since you mentioned that, how would someone get a hold of you if they wanted to
Um,
talk to you about
Best
helping
way
them?
to get a hold of us is via our website.
Hmm.
We are also on Facebook and Instagram. You can reach out through there.
Okay, great. So I'll share that link with folks so they can or link and your Instagram account, and they can reach out to you if they want
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
help. So what are some of the like absolutely crazy things that have happened in your experience with crewing, or has it been relatively smooth?
I don't know. Some of the craziest things are like, I mean, obviously it's always unexpected how much, like with just Cam and Jeremy, it's always unexpected how much Cam can just ham on his car.
Okay.
To unexpected new levels like lighting things on fire underneath.
Oh,
I
wow.
I would have never considered that a stock Impreza exhaust manifold
Yeah.
could heat up so much to melt the boots on the steering rack and
Uh,
let the fluid burn. It was incredible to see that firsthand. It was a whole nother thing to deal with it.
oh, so
It's
the grease
crazy.
and everything just kind of evaporated then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Wow.
crazy. Like it's crazy and bewildering and also very um like it just oftentimes requires a lot of effort when you realize just how much you can push a car
Mm-hmm.
and just how much nature and the elements can push the car by like you don't think about it when you're like driving around normally how much like the elements impact your vehicle, but like when they've been driving for 2 hours, 90 miles an hour through the ice, and
Yeah.
like the entire, like, you get the car back and you're like, okay, we practically need to stick it in a hot bath because it's a popsicle now. Um,
Like we the
this is
first
weird.
the first time that we went to Snowdrift as crew with Cam and
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, we were not prepared. Like it was now granted, there was
Food
not
drift.
as much, yeah,
Food drift.
there was it was poo drift. Yeah, there was not as much snow as there could have been. But it was still like
Yeah.
everything was caked.
Even though it was
And
so wet out, they're
Oh,
going
okay.
so fast that
it like freezes
it
to
turns
the
into
strut.
clay.
And
Okay.
it took us so long just to clear off the nuts and bolts
That's the
to
crazy
get a
part.
good look at things.
Yeah, I guess the more fun way to put it is it's crazy. The craziest part is how much ingenuity you often have to have
Oh, yeah. Good
in
point.
order to get through the race.
Yeah. So speaking of which, I think when we talked before, you were looking for a beer can, right, to shield the.
Yeah. So one our solution to the manifold getting too hot was to
Mm-hmm.
build a makeshift heat shield. And the only way we could figure out how to do that quickly in the time we had, because we didn't have very much warning before they were coming in for service.
Yeah.
So we had to just go, run all around the service area and say, hey, do you have any cans? Any aluminum cans? Even if you have a little bit left, like finish
Yeah.
it and then we'll come back and we'll grab the can from you. And we were cutting them down the middle and cutting the ends off and turning them into makeshift heat shields that we could put together around the exhaust with uh, pipe clamps, like hose clamps, just to hold it just enough so that way it wouldn't melt the power steering boot. I
Gotcha.
think
Well,
we
there's
ended
where the can of beans would have come in handy
Yeah,
right, yeah.
that would have been a good one.
Yeah.
to shield that. So that's great. So
What should I do? We should actually save a really big can
Oh, that would be a
for
really
future
good
use. That would
exhaust
be good.
fix.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. So you have to be pretty quick and innovative and um, really good at problem solving.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, what's next on your schedule?
Well, right now,
With Cam, it'll be in September.
yeah, we're going to Over Mountain with
Oh,
Cam and
okay, great.
Jeremy. Yep.
Otherwise, there's a
Um,
bunch of practices.
Otherwise, we're trying to do a bunch of rally crosses to kind of drum up interest and to also help to support the rallycross program up here in the UP.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it's the kind of the gateway into rally, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're looking at. is, the way that we get the next generation of drivers into stage rally is by getting people into rallycross now. And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe one of the best ways that we can do that or help with that is by participating in the rallycross program and trying to encourage and helping to encourage more participation in it. Because one of the challenges with Lake Superior Region SCCA events up here are because of the weather,
Yeah.
there's only really time to do two events while Michigan Tech is in session. And so you
Okay.
can't really grab the spring rallycross season because Tech has already graduated and moved out of town by that time.
Okay.
So it's kind of tough to fill up those middle of the summer events with people who are interested. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a really great program up here in the UP, especially, I feel.
Very nice. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Because I imagine you're going to experience such a wide variety of vehicles,
Oh,
that show up at Rallycross. So I imagine that'd be a good experience for you guys too.
yeah, because we run a 2006 Subaru Forester.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, that shares a platform with all the other Subarus
Yeah.
up till about 2008, 2009, right? And that means most of the things out there we know how to work on. And when it comes to Subarus, when
Mm-hmm.
it's other things, that's where we're not as familiar with the intricacies. Like
Okay.
I've worked on the first gen Eclipse a bunch because of Eli, right?
Right.
And there are a lot of things that are done on the Eclipse and the Mitsubishis that just, they're just different from the Subarus. And I enjoy those types of experiences. So working on other cars is very much like, hey, we can add this to our knowledge base now.
Right.
Not only somebody who has one of these vehicles, so if we ever meet somebody in the future, we can, put them in contact and say, hey, you should talk to this person if you want more information
Right.
about this car because they also run one. But also so that we can learn, because the more vehicles we become familiar with, like the better we'll be.
Right. Right. Oh, that's fantastic. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm hoping to get out to some of my local rallycross events here soon and check those out because I've seen photos of my local events and I've seen a few ARA cars, that still have the stickers on the side. So I kind of want to get out and chat with them and
Yeah, there are a
hear
lot of
their
folks
story.
who take their stage cars out to rallycrosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because sometimes you can't travel great distances to race, and you gotta fill that void in between your local rallies or rallies that are going to show up a few states away or what have you. So yeah, it's good to keep stay behind the wheel and keep sharp, I imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially because the rallycross courses, at least I feel like they end up being a little bit more technical. They make you think a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because once you get onto a stage level, you've got pace notes and you're kind of in a rhythm and you're just flowing between corners. It's one after the other. You're going point to point at a much farther distance.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the rallycross, you only have a set course length and it's probably less than a mile. And you have so many little micro inputs that you have to do in order to navigate that course faster and faster each time. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's almost a great practice tool,
Yeah.
even to supplement, even if you're doing stage rallies all the time. Just doing a rally cross here and there is a great opportunity to get some seat time in your car, feel it out on a known stage over and
Right.
over again, and to really be able to hone in on, hey, what can I do a little bit differently to speed this corner up next time? Because that will help improve your skills next
Right.
time you do a stage rally.
I really appreciate you coming back on and taking the time this evening to talk about what it is you do And it sounds fantastic because it would totally take a lot of pressure off some of these teams to have you both helping out. So what I'd like to do is circle back around and maybe chat with you again, do a short little episode, and see how things went in September with Camden and Jeremy and so on. So it would be great to have you back on.
We'd love to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. So thanks again for sharing all your great stories, and hopefully you won't have too many bad stories, but all good, and everything worked out with Jeremy and.
Oh yeah. They're a pleasure to work with.
They are.
Yeah.
Cam is going. They're both going places.
Oh, good.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like they're having a lot of fun, and they're really enjoying themselves. So I really look forward to chatting with them again, as well as the two of you. So, well, have a great evening, and the weekend's coming up, so have a good weekend as well.
Thank you. You too, Jim.
You too, Jim.
All right, take care.
Enjoy. Have a good one.
Bye. If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.